Nick, can you follow me on a journey here really quick?
Yeah.
We're going back to 2012.
Classic year.
Classic year. Best year, some might say. Not me. But
Some people thought it was the last year.
not me. 2012, I don't know. Let's say around May of 2012. A little old movie comes out that kind of changed cinema. I can't say forever, but at least in the past decade, it really shook up everything. And that movie was Marvel's The Avengers. Yes, with Samuel L. Jackson, Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett. I know his name. Clint
Jeremy Renner.
From the hit movie The Bourne Legacy.
Yeah.
And immediately that movie was a hit. Everyone seemed to love it. I loved it.
Not everyone loved it.
Everyone seemed to.
I did not seem to.
Okay, I was leading into that. That movie, it was the biggest hit in who knows how long. It was so, quote unquote, different from anything superhero we had seen before. Like all these characters that had lived in their own separate franchises all coming together to take on one, quote unquote, like big threat, even though it's just Loki. Like that was insane. That was so cool. And it was fun, and it was funny at the time. And it was just like, wow, they're really doing something with this. They're really doing something new. Yeah, for live action at least. And it seemed like, people moved on. But they remembered it as a good blockbuster movie that they loved. But now, here we are, phase 5. We've had, the likes of Infinity War, Endgame, Winter Soldier. We've had the DCEU come on scene as soon as the next year with Man of Steel. And right off the bat, DCEU was a completely different beast than the MCU, for better or worse. And so we have this new lens on how to look back on the Avengers 2012 movie. And I'm not going to say it doesn't hold up, because at the end of the day, I still enjoy my time with it. I can't separate my bias or nostalgia from it. So I guess I'll never know 100% if it stands up to time. But you never shared the same opinion as me on this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so my opinion of it is this. Leading up to it, obviously, it was very exciting, especially for
It was very exciting,
especially for like comic book fans. Like, bro, I was like, because Iron Man dropped, that was amazing, and then they were like, oh man, there's gonna be an Avengers movie. What? And then, oh yeah, 2012. So like that was all really exciting, and the movie itself, like it was solid. It was fun. It was fine, but a lot of it, like tonally, it's not what I wanted from a first Avengers movie. It was too lighthearted for me, and even just looking at it, everything is just way too bright for me.
That was one of the most shocking things going back. Like I said, after having been through Infinity War, Endgame, all these other like kind of higher elevated team up movies, quality wise,
better team up movies. Nah, say it. Nah, say it.
Coming back to watch Avengers 2012 again, like I think last year, 10 years later, I was shocked at how it looked like a TV show. It looked,
yeah, dude,
it looked cheap. It looked so flat. It looked
in the
bad.
theaters. That's why I was like, dude, when I was watching it, I think I was with my mom when I saw it in theaters for the first time, and I like that first chase scene where they were
in the
like,
underground facility.
Yeah, like the way that shit looked, I was like, oh. Come on, because y'all made it seem like it was gonna be this whole big thing, and like you said, it looked just like a TV movie. This shit could have aired on ABC. Like that first scene, that looked like the opening scene to like Avengers the series on ABC 15, 2:00 in the afternoon. It looked like that, and then like some of it was funny, but it seemed like it was just kind of like you're trying too hard to make it too lighthearted. And I understand it's a Disney film, which makes it a family film, so you got to make it so that everybody can see it, but I guess I come from, when you're watching like Spider-Man and The Dark Knight and just like, yes, they're superhero movies, so they think it's just for kids, but they're all PG-13. They're all like dark, dramatic, kind of serious stories. And there's nothing wrong with making it more lighthearted, but it just felt like some of the stuff that was going on, like it doesn't hold the weight that I would want it to. Like when Captain America and spoilers, when Captain America and Iron Man meet Thor for the first time, I thought it was gonna be like a whole thing. You know what I mean? Because you're talking about a guy from the 40s and a man of science meeting a literal god. They're meeting it's the Norse god of thunder, but no one cared. Like no one gave a shit. So that was just kind of
Iron Man just started making jokes.
Yeah, I'm like, does this not like mean anything? Like, cause y'all can't be seeing this shit every day. If this was phase 2 or 3, then okay, sure, but it's not.
They even established that he got PTSD from the whole alien thing. But when we see him first meet an alien, he's just all, does thy curtains match thy drapes or some shit. The first thing he does is make a joke to Thor.
And because it's Iron Man, I feel like he knew exactly who Thor was because he had read all the files, because it was after Coulson came to the house and was like, bro, it's the Avengers and blah, blah, blah. And like when he pulled up the files, it was him and Pepper and they were looking at the footage of like the Incredible Hulk. When they saw that, they were like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But then again, he meets Thor, okay, whatever. And then he even meets Bruce Banner and he's cracking jokes at him. And that also, to me, it just, that scene and just how Tony Stark was in that movie, it felt weird because it was like you're all jokey
were a
and
little
shit.
Changed. Yeah.
I think that's because of Joss Whedon. Because in the first Iron Man movie, yes, he was kind of a jokester. He
had an arc though.
He had an arc, and that's the thing. It seemed like at the beginning of Iron Man 2, the arc was just completely erased. And then in Avengers, like he was a different character. In the first one, he had that whole line like, you stood by my side all these years while I reap the benefits of destruction, and now that I'm trying to fix all that, you're just gonna walk away. He's like, there's nothing except this. There's the next mission and there's nothing more. He was dead serious. Like, maybe I shouldn't be alive unless it was for a reason. I just finally know what I have to do. Very dark, very dramatic scenes and lines. And then
smash cut to Avengers, like, we are not soldiers.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, smash cut. Does mother know you wear with her drapes? Like, oh gosh. I feel like jaded. He's like, yo, can we talk about the economic and political state of the country right now? But yeah, it was just kind of like, don't make everything, because like a big budget like superhero crossover, the first crossover like this, I don't want it to be all jokey. I want it to I want you to take it seriously, even if that means like, okay, well, like the movie's gonna be dark or whatever. But it's like, I want to feel something. I don't want to just, if I wanted to laugh at something, I would put on a comedy. I'd put on like Friends of the Office or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, it just kind of felt like, let's make it super lighthearted, not really take everything too seriously. And like, yeah, have fun, sure. There's nothing wrong with that, but it was just that tone that I didn't like. And then it seemed like Joss Whedon has this obsession. Well, that obsession is a strong word, but it seems like he has this whole thing with like blue lights. I kept seeing like blue lights in this one and in the second one he directed, Age of Ultron.
Did you see it in the Justice League, the Whedon cut?
I haven't seen it in so long, I don't remember, but I don't think so.
I do want to circle back because you said something like you think it was Joss Whedon who altered the characters to be like what they became in Avengers. And I think that's a pretty solid theory, seeing as what he did to the characters in the Whedon cut and then watching what they should have been in the Snyder cut. I think it's pretty safe to assume that was all Joss Whedon's influence over the characters. I think it was worse in hindsight, especially. Yeah,
I don't like that. I'm not even going to get into Justice League, but just with Avengers, and I feel like, this is all speculation on my part, but I wonder if because I think he came from television, because he did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then he did not Serenity. Well, no, it was Serenity, but it was Firefly. It was that show Firefly, but it was a show, and then they get him to do Avengers, and it looked like you said, it looked a little bit like a TV show. So I'm like, were they kind of like, we spent a hell of a lot of money on all of these actors and all these visual effects. there is one department we gotta cut down on just a little bit, and that's gonna be the director. And I'm like, is that what it was? Because Avengers 2 didn't look anything like Avengers 1, and it didn't feel anything like Avengers 1. It felt a little bit like it, but it still felt darker. Like Avengers 2, generally speaking, I would prefer to watch that as opposed to the first Avengers.
There's at least more going on in the second one.
Yeah, and I like the darker tone. I think I just like dark superhero movies. I like dark tones. I like it when it feels like, oh my gosh, like I like that shit.
And you mentioned earlier, you said like, you know, this was a Disney movie. They had to keep it lighthearted for the family. Like, therefore it's a family movie, blah, 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 blah. Like, I feel like that doesn't hold water anymore because we got Infinity War. We know what they can do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
Infinity War was still kind of light though, but because it's like, you know, all the Marvel movies are light.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's Disney. So like they kind of have to be light, but you bring up a good point. Infinity War and Endgame, it's like they still kind of, it was so dark. You still felt like the weight of things, just like a little bit more.
Yeah, like the stakes. Not saying the stakes weren't taken seriously in Avengers, but the stakes in Infinity War, like it was just oppressive, and it showed in the story and how the characters were acting. Mm-hmm. The characters, how they acted in the first Avengers. Especially Tony Stark with trying to get Bruce Banner to Hulk out in the fucking
helicarrier.
In the helicarrier. Like it just the characters and the story. I guess the first one, sure, but it just didn't feel like there was a good connect between the two.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
So, how would you fix Avengers 2012?
I started picturing just if I was gonna do it from the ground up, but
yeah, okay. Let's add a caveat to this then.
Okay, like how would you fix it? But it has to be within what was already established. Exactly. It's not from the ground up. Okay,
exactly.
One thing I would do, I would show a little bit more of maybe like the guys the characters' personal lives a little bit. Like I feel like because going into it, I thought that Captain America was going to be a more central figure in the movie, just because when I was a kid there was this Ultimate Avengers animated movie, and in that one he was the main character because it started off in World War II when everybody thought that he died, and then like we mostly followed him throughout the film, and we saw kind of like we saw him having to adjust a little bit more and deal with in this new crazy world of gods and monsters. If I may. But so that's one thing I would do, because there was even a couple of scenes.
2 people in the audience will get that.
you just hear like way in the back. Yeah. Chris Evans had filmed some scenes where it showed him like it was in his new apartment and like he doesn't really know what to do and stuff like that. And like
he goes to like the cafe and he talks to that waitress, I think.
Yeah, and the waitress, like, because she had popped up like towards the end of the movie, and in the movie, while I'm watching the movie, I'm wondering like, what is this all about? But so seeing that deleted scene added the context. So I guess first change, take her character the fuck out.
That's the first thing you would change.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm lying. When I say this next thing, tell me I'm lying.
Okay.
That's the easiest fucking change you got to make with this movie.
Oh, okay.
And you're going to save some money on it. And also, she doesn't come back in Avengers 2. She doesn't come back in Avengers 3. She don't come back in Avengers 4. She never comes back. So it is, I think that was just like one of those Joss Whedon things. Like, yeah, Joss Whedon-isms. Like, oh, let's focus on this random character. And then somehow they're going to interact with the main group in some way, and then that'll tie it all together. No, I didn't come here to see her. I came here to see Marvel's Avengers, bro. So take that little thing out. Overall, I would just make the stakes heavier, and I feel like you can still do that in a way where it doesn't feel like just a really lighthearted movie. But it's like, matter of fact, I got you. Pirates of the Caribbean 3, right? It was a fun movie. You could totally take your family to see it, but it was still kind of like dark and like a little bit heavy, and like the stakes were always like, holy shit, are they gonna make it? It was kind of like that. So I would want just a darker tone overall. When they first are meeting Thor and Loki and everybody, have
that mean something.
Yeah, have it like when Thor walks up, have him kind of freak everybody out a little bit, because he is the ultimate wild card. I know like we had that action movie
Right.
for him. But his first scene in Avengers is when he jumps on the plane and then takes Loki out. So I would have it be like they think he's working with Loki, and then it's this whole thing, and then he's like, no, I'm trying to like take Loki back. So like maybe there's resistance from like all of the Avengers, like, and Thor too. Like they don't really fuck with each other, but it's
no
kind of
trust yet.
There's no trust yet, but it's like it kind of seems like our goals are aligned. So I guess for now I'll work with you. And then as the movie progresses, they lighten up a little bit, and then that camaraderie comes through.
Well, you were saying you want the stakes to feel more serious, and I honestly think they can keep the same enemy and the same scenario.
They could. They totally could.
They don't need to change that. All you need to do is show the actual effects of it and show the fear that it's causing and the destruction that it's causing, and like
have like, oh, you know what? Never mind. I was about to say like have a few buildings just get demolished, but when they did it in Man of Steel, everybody tripped. Even though they stay doing that in like hella other movies.
I mean, I think it would be better in Avengers because as long as the heroes aren't the one doing it, you know, because they did have buildings be toppled by that flying thing, I assume.
Yeah, that's what I got for right now. Something comes to me, I'll let you know. But how about you?
Yeah, I would change it so Tony Stark is more like, okay, this is after Iron Man 2. So we'll go off of Iron Man 2 Tony Stark because it wouldn't make sense to just kind of try and pick up where Iron Man 1 left off. But yeah, I wouldn't have him be like a narcissistic asshole to the degree that he was in Avengers, because some of the things he was doing just felt dumb.
It felt off. You know what? Yeah, because when he was making fun of Bruce Banner, he's like, I love the way you turn into a rage monster. I was talking to someone. I was like, it seems weird that it seems oddly mean that he would say that, and it was like, well, that's Tony Stark. He's like a jokester. He was in the last movie, and he was in like the beginning of the first movie, but the whole arc from Iron Man 1, it seems like it just got erased. So I guess to your point with his character specifically, what I would do is like I would have it how his personality in Iron Man 2, I would kind of just act like, nah, in Iron Man 2, he was still how he was at the end of Iron Man 1. So in Avengers, he still has that whole like...
Oh, so you would do the thing that I said I wouldn't do and just ignore Iron Man 2.
Like I wouldn't ignore the events that happened in Iron Man 2. I would just ignore the characterization of Tony Stark in Iron Man 2.
Personality.
The person, that would be it. So yeah. but no, it would... the whole like selfish narcissistic type thing, he could still be like that, but it would be like I'm like when he shows up, he's like, I'm Tony Stark, I'm the man, like I'm the one that's gonna lead that team. He has that narcissistic kind of not entitled, but he thinks he's the smartest in the room because he kind of is, but he's a little bit of an asshole about it. But the intentions are good, so it's still like. It's not just that I'm taking over so we can like win this. Like he thinks he's that guy, but with the same goals that he had at the end of Iron Man 1, like this is the mission. I'm here to save the world. I'm gonna do that however I can because I'm Iron Man. When he said I am Iron Man, it wasn't just I'm revealing my secret identity to everybody. It was this Iron Man persona is me doing my best every day to be a better version of myself. So I would want to keep that.
Yeah, actually, piggybacking off of that, it would be really cool if like he has that attitude in this movie where he's like, yeah, I'm going to be an asshole about it, but shit is going to get done and things are going to happen.
It'd be like Benedict Cumberbatch and Sherlock, kind of. I wouldn't have him be like as assholey as Sherlock was, but it would still be like, it would be like when you watch, like if you were interacting with Tony Stark, like, oh, you get on my fucking nerves. You're like an asshole and you're a jerk, but you are right though. So it's like, I'm going to do what you say, but it's always going to be begrudgingly.
I don't think I would do it quite to that degree.
I would go all in, bruh.
Because he wasn't like that at the end of Iron Man 1. He was still kind of nice, you know?
Yeah, but it was to Pepper though.
Okay. Well, anyway, I would have him have that attitude. Same events play out where like he has to fly a nuke into, you know, this wormhole. And I would really like it because like if you have the same events, or at least that event play out where like, but he was going into it the whole time trying really hard. It's not like he only got serious in the last half hour. If the whole movie was like him really trying to like step up to this new threat of aliens and, gods. And he's just being an asshole, but he's like saving people, and he's trying to rise to the occasion. And the nuke thing happens. And then when he goes through the wormhole, he sees that and he's like, oh shit, what I'm doing isn't good enough. Like I tried so hard this whole movie, and I come through and I see like this armada, and this just happened randomly. That would be a really good lead into the Iron Man 3 PTSD thing. Like, because like he is all in, but he only just now learned how big the stakes are. I think that would be a really cool new arc leading into the Thanos shit,
Oh, I like that. You know what? I think for the whole like asshole thing, what if he's doing that, but it's like as a defense mechanism, like he's really just kind of scared, and like that is
I could see that
his own suit of armor. So then like how I said like, oh, he was nice to Pepper, like maybe he's having like a little quiet moment. It's just him and Bruce, and like he's talking to Bruce, he lightens up a little bit, and he's like, oh, you're not like an asshole like everybody says, and he's kind of like, oh, all right, or something like that, just to kind of acknowledge like as much as he's kind of like trying and just kind of getting on everybody's nerves, it's just because it's this promise that he made to himself and to the world, the whole Iron Man thing. And I'm fucking scared. I've never dealt with this before. So it would, that's the tone I would want for everybody. Like Iron Man is like, bro, I can make a suit of armor, and I can fight another guy in a suit of armor. And in Iron Man 2, I can fight a guy in a suit of armor with like whips and shit.
Right.
And I can, but like, that's as much as I've ever done. And then with the whole like wormhole thing, like one thing, when you said that, bro, I was thinking like, what if fucking, when he sees it, Thanos is sitting there and like, he kind of turns, like maybe like when Jarvis is talking to Tony Stark in the suit, he's like, oh, Mr. Stark, the power supply of the suit is going to be depleted. So like Thanos hears that, and then in Infinity War, that's why he's like, Stark, dang, kind of like,
I remember you.
Yeah, like it always kind of bothered me in Infinity War. Like it's like, well, how does he know who Tony Stark is?
I was surprised they never strictly brought that up in Endgame, because I also thought that was going to come back somehow.
Yeah, a lot of people are just saying like, oh, well, because Tony Stark blew up the ship. Oh, okay, that doesn't mean he automatically knows who he. Like there were theories like maybe because since Thanos had the Soul Stone at that point in time, he kind of was able to connect to people's souls and learn, kind of like know them in a way, like as soon as he saw them. And it was like, so like when he met Iron Man, like that's why he knew, but he didn't explain that, so that's not it. Maybe Loki told him or something like that. And but like I'm sure Loki and Thanos had some interactions between the first Avengers and Infinity War. Like I'm sure there was some sort of correspondence every now and then or something like that. Because even in this isn't like a spoiler, but in the Loki show, when you finished Loki,
yeah.
In the Loki show, when he was talking to the TVA, and he's like, what about the Avengers? Blah blah. They're like, that was supposed to happen. And like da da da. And like he had that line about Iron Man, like, oh no, because this has Tony Stark written all over. Blah blah blah. But it's like, well, you only met him the one time, so it's kind of, it's all this weird shit like that. Like I don't know, like how well did you guys all know each other that y'all are referencing each other like this? And like Loki wouldn't know, oh, this has Tony Stark all over it. Well, I don't know, because how did he learn about Tony Stark? But that's something I think would be cool, like if
there was a connection between Thanos and Iron Man from like day one.
Yeah, it would be, they fucking saw each other, and like Thanos just, I know it was space, but it's a comic book movie. He heard Jarvis say Mr. Stark, and he kind of, can you imagine like he turns around and then like there's the inside shot of the helmet, and like Iron Man is kind of like, he has that look like, oh my God, because it's like
that same look, maybe even
the same fucking look. Yeah. Imagine like you like, I have to, it's in Tony Stark's eyes, that's essentially going into hell and then seeing Satan look right at you, bro.
Purple Satan.
Exactly. Yeah, purple Satan. But it's still like, that's what it would feel like to him, because now it's like, oh, this is the bigger picture. And like even in like the other movies, like when they were doing Age of Ultron, Kevin Feige, when he was promoting it, he was saying like, yeah, Tony's trying to prepare for like the bigger threat out there. But like it was only him, and like it was kind of like, it seemed like y'all are saying shit, but I don't feel it.
Yeah, you're saying it, but I don't see it.
Yeah, like it's like, it's only him. Like wouldn't he like tell people like that, like I feel like he would try to get everybody else on board, kind of, or it just seems weird that you're part of a team but you're just gonna do this all on your own.
That's just, how he is though, because like he's the smartest man in the room. He probably doesn't want like share everything he thinks with everyone around him, you know.
That's a good point. That's a good point because Ultron was kept secret from everybody.
And I think Ultron was kind of what Kevin Feige was alluding to there. Like he's trying to think ahead and save everyone, but it just backfired royally on his ass. I don't know what he did going forward after that. That would, you know, that shows him preparing though. Besides the nanotech suit. But that came out of nowhere for Infinity War.
That was really it. It was Ultron, and then I'm retired.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start doing speeches at colleges. But that's how I would handle, the Thor and the Iron Man aspects of it.
But okay, how would you do Black Widow and Hawkeye? Would you even do Hawkeye?
You know, I don't think I had a problem with how Black Widow and Hawkeye were. I like that they were like ground. Oh, because you know that's another thing. Like that whole feeling the stakes thing. Black Widow had this whole line when she was talking to Hawkeye. Like, this is like, we're spies. We have never trained like this before. Again, I didn't really feel like that. I didn't feel the gravity of what they were saying in that scene. There are some changes I make to Hawkeye, but that would kind of go into like, I'm building this from the ground up. Okay, here's one thing. I don't think I would do the whole mind control thing that they did with him, because it felt like this can't. I know it's technically not the introduction to the character because he was in Thor, but it's like this is the first time we're like really, really seeing him. So I'm not. I wouldn't do that. I would just have him be like part of the team.
Maybe he's trying to recruit along with Black Widow the other members of the Avengers team.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe no. I was gonna say something. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Because I was thinking like, what if it was like maybe like Nick Fury gets mind controlled, but like Hawkeye was kind of like Fury's like number 1 or number 2 or something like that. So then it's that whole thing, and that way you have it where Hawkeye is legit just part of the team the whole time, and it's like, well, we have to like save him or something like that. I don't know. Like, it's like basically with Hawkeye, I just wouldn't do the mind control thing. Okay, I can't really think of anything else within the movie that I would change. And Black Widow was fine. Coulson's death, while I understand it was why they kind of like basically got together, but that's a little off to me.
That is one thing I would change, because like that was even as a kid, he died, and I was like, oh, okay, he died. And then I'm watching everyone just be devastated, like in the movie, devastated about it.
No one gave a shit about him until he died, bro.
Yeah.
No one gave 2 flying fucks about him until he died. And even there's also one other person you're pissed off. His name was Phil, dude, in the theater. It was kind of like that, bro. Like, are you serious, man?
Oh,
that meme with the FBI agents where it's like, you say something crazy in the computer, they're like, it was like, I can't listen to this, man. That was like, so maybe he also just wouldn't be in the movie.
Like, for me, I would keep him in the movie, but like kind of have him be, show why he is like directly under Fury.
You know what? Yeah, give him like a scene out of nowhere where it's him. It's like maybe like a bunch of like the Shatari aliens, and it's just this badass like he fucking takes them all out basically on his own. And you know what? If you did it like that, you could probably still have it where like Loki kills him, but I wouldn't use that as the reason that brings them all together. It would just be like, dang, like that's tough, and like you have like the little sad moment, but it's like,
you know what?
What's up?
Yeah, maybe have Loki kill him, but instead of affecting all of the Avengers, have it just affect Fury. Have it like this. You just killed my partner for like 20 years. Like, this is the only dude I fully trusted to have my back. You took that away from me. I'm going to take everything away from you. So now it becomes personal for him.
Oh, okay. Let's work with that. What if maybe Coulson dies at the beginning of the movie, and then and then like Fury's like, oh hell no, like goes to the fucking secret archives.
Time to recruit.
Fucking like pulls out the file, like dust it off, put all the files on like everybody, bro, and then like it's Fury like fucking personally going everywhere, bro. Because also that whole Hulk and Natasha scene at the beginning when she found him in India.
Right.
No, I did not like that. I did not like that at all. But the whole Hulk versus, and again because they expanded on this in the other movies, but with this movie when Natasha had to recruit the Hulk, I was like, I know there's not no chemistry in the scene, right? Because that wouldn't make no type of sense at all, at least to me, and it seems like to everybody else because they nipped it in the bud after part 2. But
Yeah.
You have Fury recruiting everybody like personally. Another idea I kind of had was like, okay, what if Coulson is the one that's like mind controlled? But also it's like, do we need to make him that important? Like, and no disrespect to the character. Like he was funny in Iron Man, but it's because like, okay. And then like he was in Iron Man 2 and okay, well yeah, he's gonna be in Iron Man 2 because it's the second one, they got to expand on everything. But it again, like they gave him his own show, but still like I can't speak for you. I wasn't asking for that, but so kill him off at the beginning of the first Avengers movie. Have Fury personally track down everybody and like recruit her, and like maybe he's even like strong arming some people. He wouldn't have to strong arm Captain America though, because Captain America is still this whole like, I'm a dude from the 40s and I follow orders from the government because I'm a soldier. So that would be like, Captain America is the first one he gets on, because also Captain America, he doesn't know what the fuck to do with himself in that house,
Right.
or in that apartment or whatever the fuck. I don't fit in here. Like
Beds are too soft.
Beds are too fucking soft. Like being in battle is really the only thing I'm comfortable with. 2 weeks ago, it was World War II for me. And you know what? I would deal with that too. Like,
you should. I actually forgot all about that. What if this is like directly after he got unthawed? Like almost
the next day,
almost no break. Like that would be insane. It's just like get up and go.
Could you imagine, bro? Captain America's first scene in Avengers is that end credit scene from the end of Captain America 1. He's like, bro, like I gotta recruit you. We got aliens coming. They're about to be here in like 10 minutes, bro.
Dude, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Because like I could see it easily being explained away. Like, yeah, the super soldier serum, like his body, once we thawed him out, he was good within hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physically.
Exactly. And they don't care about his mental state in a time of crisis.
And it's not even like we don't care because we're like an evil government corporation. We don't care because that threat, it's here right now.
We don't care because we cannot afford to care right now.
Exactly, bro. And then again, you get the heightened stakes, and that's what we're doing right now. That's what I love so much in Infinity War. Like, bro, this is a last minute, all hands on deck. All of existence essentially is at risk, and not even all of existence just for the planet Earth, the entire universe. Oh, it can't be all of existence because he's only gonna snap half of all life away, but half of infinity is still like infinity. So even though it's not like 100% of everybody, it's still like, because also we don't even know who's gonna get snapped away.
Right.
I'm not trying to find out, you know. So it's kind of like, so if you like have that sense of urgency, that's what the movie was missing. So yeah, that's what you do with Captain America. That's what you do with Thor, what we just said, and then that's what you do with Iron Man. And Hawkeye is just kind of part of the group. I wouldn't do like a romance thing with Hawkeye and Black Widow. They would just be like best friends, brother sister relationship, because I like that dynamic that they have.
Yeah, in the second one, when he's talking to Wanda, and he's like, you know, giving her a pep talk, and he's like the reliable one. I would really like it if that kind of just extended further into the Avengers team. Like even maybe Captain America goes to Clint for advice, and maybe like he's kind of this father figure. So when half of them get snapped away, that's like another thing on the pile why he snapped. Like all these people I cared about, including my family, are gone. Fuck what I thought. I'm just gonna go get shit done.
Yeah, we've had this conversation a bunch of times. Like they always make it seem like, or not always, but like in Age of Ultron, like you said, he was kind of he was given to the pep talk, and even in the first Avengers, like, hey, what's your history with Clint Barton? Like he was supposed to kill me, but he saved me, and now I'm not an assassin. Like I work for SHIELD now. I'm on the up and up, and yeah, so it's like we've had this conversation, and then they gave him like his own show, but it was so kind of like, this was like after the fact. It's kind of weird. Like you make him the big brother figure. He's the character that is supposed to ground everybody. He's literally the everyman. Like, yes, I'm a government agent, and like, yes, I use like a bow and arrow, but I'm kind of just a dude. And you could even have it where like his backstory, like maybe he was a criminal, like maybe he had like rough or humble beginnings, and it's like
maybe someone helped him, and that's why like he's taking on that role himself for the other Avengers.
Fury helped him. So when Fury's in trouble, he's like, oh heck no, I got to like da. But yeah, you like he grounds everybody, and he can kind of like relate to everybody. Like he can relate to Steve Rogers because like I was a soldier too, and like blah blah, this was my life. And like with Iron Man, it's like you could have where like maybe he doesn't like relate to Iron Man, but like he's at least as quick-witted as Iron Man is. So it's like I can kind of humble you a little bit. Like
maybe he's like a little bit wiser than Iron Man. So like Tony kind of has like even if he doesn't show it, he still like has a little bit of respect for what Clint has to say, you know. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Exactly. And with so you have him. He's able to like relate to everybody, like kind of keep everybody grounded. And that was the feel. That's what they were trying to do in Age of Ultron when they had that whole like house scene.
Right.
They really were making it seem like, oh, maybe Clint Barton's gonna like die or something like that, because it was like, oh man, not all of us are gonna come back. And they showed Clint, and it was like, oh, we're introduced to his wife and his kids, and blah blah blah. But yeah, so wrapping all of that up in Avengers, like that's what you do with the Clint Barton character. He's the everyman that he is capable, and like he is still like an inspiration to like other people and stuff like that, but he keeps everyone grounded. He's everyone's like best friend / big brother, and that way you give him a little bit more stake in the matter, a little bit more relatability there. Right. Thor, like I said, you make it where he's the wild card. Like, yes, we know what kind of shit he's on because we saw his movie.
We did.
No, exactly. No one else did. So everyone, because also as big, Chris Hemsworth was the biggest fucking dude there. So you have it where like I would play him like he's not like a goofy kind of like Asgardian warrior. Like he's a fucking Viking. He's a guy. He's a space Viking, and he's here now. So like, and he's like huge. So like that scene that he had at the beginning of Endgame where he's like, "What's wrong with him?" And like he was just kind of sitting there like that. Like he looked like he was like really like just in his head.
Right.
That would be kind of like his vibe in this one. And because of that, and because like this guy has a magic hammer, he flies and he's throwing lightning everywhere. Everyone else is like, okay, bro, like, hey, we will work with you. Like maybe they're trying to act up like we're gonna work with you, but don't fuck with us. But you know, like everybody's scared because again, like this is we haven't dealt with you before, and there's another you out there that's fucking shit up. And they brought forth all these aliens. Now you got a magic god and space aliens working together. Dang, and this is the first movie, and it's like everybody else again, like they're just regular humans. Steve Rogers is just a World War II vet. Iron Man is just a really smart guy in his suit. He's a mechanic or an engineer, basically. Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton, they're just spies.
Right.
Like Bruce Banner is like, I'm arguably the most powerful person on the team, but like I don't want to be. I just want to do science stuff and like help people.
I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here. Yeah. So like you can keep that. Like I wouldn't even change anything. Dude, Mark Ruffalo in the first Avengers, like he was my favorite part of that movie. I like that he was all like,
really?
Yeah, dude. I like that he was all like nervous and kind of like had like them little, not like tics, but like if he saw like a guard or something, he would just immediately turn away, even though like you're supposed to be here, bro. And then when they showed the Hulk, I loved how the Hulk looked because he wasn't super like lean and all muscly and all like strenuous and like veiny and stuff like he was in the Edward Norton Edward Norton one,
2008.
In the 2008 one, yeah, like it was like, and he actually looked like Mark Ruffalo. I like that they did that.
I was like, in hindsight, I'm shocked it took them that long to do that, because that was the third CGI Hulk we'd had at that point. And when that happened, I was like, I see it.
I was like,
wow.
Like, why wouldn't he?
Exactly. Like, it's him. Well, arguably. But yeah, like, yeah, it should look like him. Why the fuck wouldn't it?
I think they kind of did it in the Eric Bana one, in the 03 one, but like it still looked a little bit different though. Like
a little bit.
It was like you got the same face, but just like we'll make his chin bigger and then expand everything else, but then like make it
like, wider and make the face a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and just,
then you got it.
Yeah, just distort everything just a little bit. But the MCU one, like I like that he looked like Bruce Banner.
Right.
So that's how I would do it. Loki, I would have Loki basically be on like the same stuff that he was on, because I like his introduction in it. Like the first time you see him, he comes to a portal. There's smoke coming off him, and he has like this really crazy smile on his face. If they didn't make the first Thor movie, that was the first time we see Loki, and thus the first time we see Thor is when he like fucking lands on the plane and takes Loki out. That would be insane. And then if you were to just like run with that, bro.
That Loki scene where like, yeah, he's kneeling and there's smoke rising and he comes up and he's smiling. Going back to the whole, it looked like a TV show thing. If they had lit that a lot, like he comes in, all the electronics like go out. It's dark. And like the only light is maybe like the fire, or if there's fire, or like just electrical firing, short circuits firing. And like, he's doing the same exact thing, same exact motions, maybe even the same exact camera angles. But if you just make it really dark and you see this big figure like stand up and you just see this smile, like this crazy smile that he has. Maybe the Tesseract is the thing that's lighting the whole scene. Fuck it, I don't know.
That would be dope.
There's so much potential. Well, there was. Yeah, that would have been so cool. And if they rode with that, and like, you know, the whole story plays out and he gets his ass kicked and maybe he's humbled, and it leads into the Loki we eventually end up knowing. But he starts out just like high on his own shit, ready to just get rid of everything in his way.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. That would have been really cool.
And it would be like, bro, like, what did you do to get here? Like, who are you? You know, it'd be kind of,
especially like what happened to him after the first Thor. It's like, oh shit, he's back and he looks like extra wicked right now.
Yeah, they never really went into that. They alluded to it. At least I've seen worlds we've never known about. Wow. Can I see them? Because it's like, you know, dude, when I heard, also that was another thing, when I heard Loki was going to be the villain for Avengers, I was not on board with that. I just saw him in Thor.
Right.
Like, because I was, again, like the first Avengers movie I saw was that animated one, and that one, it did have the Chitauri in it, but the no, that was it. Oh, okay. It was just the Chitauri aliens, and it was kind of, there was some shit going on with the aliens in 1945, and that's kind of how they had tied the whole Captain America thing together. Mm-hmm. I don't know necessarily that I would go that route, but it was fine, and then it was like, it was just Loki. But I do kind of think that they did that because he was the first Avengers villain in the comics.
Oh, really? Loki?
Yeah, in the first.
I did not know that. Okay.
In the first one, it was Iron Man and Thor and Hulk and maybe Hawkeye and Wasp.
Okay.
And that was the original Avengers team. And Iron Man suit, it was that gray suit, but it was just gold. But it looked exactly the same, but it was just gold.
Oh, okay.
And then they got Captain America, I think, a few issues down the line.
To wrap this all up,
Avengers was whack, and we just pitched y'all a better movie.
So with all that being said, going back, you know, on our little time travel trip to 2012, who would you have gotten to direct our hypothetical Avengers 2012 movie?
I would get Jon Favreau, who directed the first two Iron Man movies, because I liked how he handled everything. It was still a fun movie, but you know, it was still more mature than a lot of the upcoming Marvel movies were at that time. You know what I mean? So yeah. And if they were to have given him like a good amount of pre-production time, because I remember hearing Iron Man 2 was just rushed while also trying to be bigger and better in every way, and a lot of people, it's a divisive movie. The first one, I don't know if they originally had like, oh, the movie needs to be released at this day, but I think they had like 3 years to make it. Mm-hmm. And then Iron Man 2 was like, okay, they only gave us 2 years to make it, and like you said, they wanted it to be like bigger and better, so that's why it felt kind of off.
Yeah, more characters, more storylines, more setup. If you give him like another 3-4 years to make this first Avengers movie, I think that would have been that would have been such a good start. Oh my God, that would have been everything would be different right now. Everything, assuming it would be a hit.
You know, I feel because of the first Iron Man movie, I feel like it would be a hit, and they kept him around because he was an executive producer on Avengers, and I think on.
I mean, shit, they put him on Star Wars, so they trust him enough, you know.
Man, I would give him the first Avengers movie straight up. Yeah, because what he's doing with Star Wars right now, the stuff that I've seen so far, I haven't like caught up, but like it's dope. Yeah, give him Avengers.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, me too.
I'll agree with that.
He's excited to direct the first Avengers movie.
And with that, we're going to call this episode quits for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on any podcast platform, please leave us a follow. We'd really appreciate it. And we will catch you guys next time.
Yep.